Lakers Nation, buckle up. What we're heading into might be one of the most defining off seasons this franchise has seen in years. The sting of that playoff loss to the Timberwolves still lingers in the air like smoke after a battle, but make no mistake, this isn't a time for mourning. It's a time for recalibration. From the tone and body language of the head coach after that last game, it was clear that he's already flipped the switch. No wallowing in disappointment, no masking the flaws with empty words. This man is on a mission, and that mission starts now. In the press conference that followed the Lakers' exit, the coach didn't dodge the hard questions. Instead, he leaned into them. And though he didn't call anyone out by name, the message rang loud and clear. He sees a team that fell short not only in skill, but in conditioning, in effort, in execution when it mattered most. He spoke openly about players who are in peak physical form and others who, quite frankly, need to step it up. There was no sugarcoating. This is a coach who knows what it takes to win, a man who's tasted success and understands the sacrifices involved. His sights are set on one goal, bringing championship-level conditioning back to this roster. Now, this isn't just your usual postseason coach speak. It wasn't vague or performative. There was an edge to it, a subtle but unmistakable critique woven into his words. Could he be hinting that fatigue or lack of preparation played a bigger role in the downfall than we initially thought? Because when you look at the numbers, they're damning. In the final quarters across the series, the Lakers were outscored by a staggering margin, 127-85. Let that sink in. That's not a slump. That's a collapse. And when the Timberwolves turned up the heat, Anthony Edwards stepped into the spotlight like it was his birthright. The Lakers, meanwhile, looked exhausted. In one of the most pivotal games, the coach had no choice but to ride the same 5 players for the entire second half. No substitutions, no reinforcements. As that final quarter wore on, you could feel the breakdown coming. And when it came, it was brutal. The Lakers were outscored 39-9 in the fourth. The final buzzer rang with a 116-113 scoreline. But the story of that game was written long before the horn sounded. In the aftermath, the coach said what everyone else was thinking but didn't want to admit. We lost to a better team. That's it. No excuses, just facts. That kind of brutal honesty might be exactly what this franchise needs right now. No more pretending, no more hoping things magically click. This is a moment for action. And while the coach is focused on the immediate, getting his players in shape, rethinking rotations, the front office is zooming out, looking at the entire chessboard. Enter the general manager, who seems to be quietly orchestrating a more aggressive rebuild behind the scenes. While the coach talks about sweat, drills, and rotations, the GM is thinking about structure, strategy, and the pieces that need to move. And the belief within the organization seems to be anchored on a trio of stars. Despite all the talk or the speculation about one of them possibly retiring, the front office is operating like he's not only coming back, but coming back to lead. The GM recently stated, "We believe these 3 players have incredible potential when combined. And we are committed to surrounding them with the right pieces for success." That kind of conviction doesn't sound like someone hedging bets. That sounds like a plan being executed in real time. But this brings up questions that are hard to ignore. Is this confidence real? Or is it a strategic play to convince the veteran to stay? After all, he'll be turning 40 next season. The clock isn't just ticking, it's thundering. If he does return, the next few weeks will be absolutely critical. Because while superstar power sells jerseys, it's depth that wins. Championships. And that's exactly where this team fell short. One glaring hole all season long was at the center position. The Lakers lacked a consistent, reliable presence in the paint. Someone who could protect the rim and battle physically with the league's best. That's not just a luxury, it's a necessity. Rumors suggest that acquiring a veteran rim protector will be at the top of the list this offseason. But don't be surprised if they also consider a younger prospect with defensive upside, especially if trade opportunities present themselves. The market is wide, but the needs are clear, and it doesn't stop at the paint. The Lakers also desperately need perimeter shooting and wing defense. Those 2 elements were missing in key moments throughout the season, and it showed. There's growing speculation about several targets the team has been eyeing, names that have circled the Lakers rumor mill before, but this time the urgency feels different. This might finally be the summer where one or two of those moves actually materialize. But here's the truth. The Lakers don't have room for error. Not this year. Not with one star nearing the twilight of his career. Not with another entering his prime and hungry to prove himself. Not with a key role player developing into a cornerstone. The stakes have never been higher. And according to insiders, there's no plan to waste time. No passive waiting. The offseason strategy is already in motion, driven by voices who understand what it means to win, not just from behind a desk, but from inside a locker room, on the hardwood, under the lights. This team is being shaped with urgency. And the question now is whether the rest of the organization can match that intensity. Will the players step up? Will the decisions made behind closed doors reflect the same level of fire we're seeing from the coaching staff? This might not be the beginning of the end. It might be the dawn of a new era. One where transition doesn't mean decline, but continuity. One where the emerging star doesn't just inherit the spotlight, but elevates it, surrounded by a roster that complements his strengths on both ends of the floor. Fans are asking, is next season finally the one where things turn around? Or are we headed for yet another roller coaster of high expectations and crushing disappointments? Behind the scenes, coaching decisions are also under scrutiny. One name that keeps surfacing is that of a former assistant coach, known around the CE league for his strategic mind and player development skills. If changes are made to the coaching staff, this could be a move worth watching closely. A new voice, someone with a fresh perspective and familiarity with modern offensive schemes, could be just what this group needs. Think of an offense that blends tempo with space, one that leverages the physical gifts of the young core while creating lanes and angles for a smarter, more controlled attack. That kind of hybrid system, part precision, part speed, could give the Lakers a strategic edge against deeper, more athletic playoff opponents. But tactics alone won't be enough. Development matters. If this team truly wants to build a sustainable future, it needs more than big-name trades and flashy free agent signings. The young players have to grow fast. Every practice has to matter. Every rep. This isn't a coaching staff that's going to waste a moment. They know that the pathway to success is forged long before the season tips off. And the younger guys need to internalize that if they want a real shot at cracking the rotation. And then there's the big man, one of the most dominant two-way forces in the league when he's fully engaged, but one whose inconsistency down the stretch raised eyebrows. Against physical defenders, he struggled to impose his will. If the Lakers want to compete with the top-tier teams, they need him to return to that dominant form, the defensive anchor, the interior force who led them to glory not so long ago. There are whispers that he's open to adjusting his offensive role, focusing less on post-ups and more on rim runs and transition opportunities. That shift could be pivotal. If the coach can sell him on a role centered around defense, rebounding, and opportunistic scoring, this team could become a much more balanced unit. But if he pushes to be the focal point of the offense, again, friction might arise. And right now, this team doesn't have the luxury of internal conflict. Meanwhile, all eyes are on a polarizing point guard whose playoff performances were once again a mixed bag. Flashes of brilliance followed by baffling decisions. He's expected to explore the market, but insiders suggest the Lakers might explore trade scenarios involving him to recoup some value. A deal here could bring in a 3-and-D wing or a battle-tested backup guard, someone who can stabilize the backcourt, especially in the postseason when every possession counts. One intriguing name being floated is a guard with high basketball IQ and a calm demeanor in crunch time. He doesn't need the ball to be effective, plays solid defense, and knocks down open shots. The kind of glue guy who can thrive alongside a dominant playmaker. He's also rumored to be open to flexible contract terms, which would help the Lakers navigate their cap situation. Identity is also a huge issue. For the past 2 years, the Lakers have swung between playing fast and leaning on a slow, post-heavy half-court offense anchored by 2 stars. But now, with younger players being added to the mix, a more deliberate, balanced approach might better suit this evolving roster if spacing is addressed properly. This underscores the absolute necessity of adding shooters, not nice to have, must have. There's one young player in particular who's under the microscope, After a strong finish last season, he struggled with consistency this year. Still, the organization remains high on his long-term upside. The belief is that he can develop into a stretch four who fits seamlessly next to the stars if he improves his lateral quickness on defense. He's been putting in work, and if that pays off, he could be a valuable asset in the title hunt. But this isn't just about X's and O's. It's about culture. Since winning the championship a few seasons ago, this locker room has lost some of its cohesion. Constant roster changes and unclear leadership dynamics have taken a toll. Now, with a new core forming, defined by the hunger of a rising star, the grit of another, and the legacy of a veteran, there's a chance to rebuild that foundation. But it won't happen organically. It'll take intentional leadership from both the front office and the veteran voices in the room. Great teams aren't built in April. They're forged in August, September, and October, long before the national spotlight kicks in. Every decision, every practice, every film session contributes to the outcome we see months later. And with one of their cornerstone players needing careful load management, the Lakers must be strategic. He can no longer be expected to carry the load every night. Reduced minutes during the regular season will be crucial to ensure he's fresh and explosive come playoff time. Load management isn't just a buzzword, it's a necessity for this roster. And speaking of necessities, the Lakers need to recommit to defense. Yes, offense gets the headlines, but defense wins when the margins tighten. The team's defensive rating to close out the season was alarmingly low. That's not acceptable for a group with championship aspirations. Adding a versatile stopper is important, but just as vital is getting existing stars to buy in. One in particular needs to step up defensively, not for an entire game, but in the moments that matter. If he can lock in, even for stretches, it changes the entire complexion of the team. Another name that continues to come up in discussions is Dillon Brooks. Say what you want about him, but he brings the kind of defensive edge and mental toughness this team sorely lacked in the postseason. He guards multiple positions, thrives under pressure, and might just be the spark this group needs. Before we continue, we ask that you leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Lakers updates. Moving on. In a surprising turn of events that may shape the Los Angeles Lakers offseason plans, new head coach JJ Redick has reportedly made it clear that he does not want center Jackson Hayes as part of the team's roster moving forward. While official statements from the organization remain pending, sources close to the situation have confirmed that Redick expressed his stance during early internal discussions about the team's future. Redick, who was hired by the Lakers amid hopes of reinvigorating the team with a fresh perspective and high basketball IQ, is already beginning to make bold decisions as he looks to craft a lineup that aligns with his strategic vision. His reported desire to move on from Hayes may be tied to the center's inconsistent performance throughout the season. Though Hayes showed flashes of athleticism and rim protection, his limited impact on both ends of the floor raised concerns among the coaching staff. Hayes, who signed with the Lakers as a backup option, averaged modest numbers and often struggled to find significant minutes behind Anthony Davis. Despite being only 24 and possessing physical tools that could make him a valuable piece in the right system, it seems Redick does not see Hayes as a fit for the style of play he plans to implement. Sources say the coach is prioritizing versatility, mobility, and basketball IQ, areas where Hayes has yet to fully develop. This decision could signal broader roster changes as the Lakers prepare for a crucial offseason. With LeBron James's future uncertain and the team looking to maximize what may be the final years of his career, every roster move carries significant weight. Redick's assertiveness suggests that he intends to reshape the team quickly, shedding players who don't align with his game plan. Whether Hayes will be traded, waived, or included in a package deal remains to be seen. But one thing is clear. Under JJ Redick, the Lakers are entering a new era, one where difficult choices will be made in pursuit of championship contention. Stay informed exclusively about Los Angeles Lakers news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep receiving daily updates. Also share your opinion on the news in the comments, as your contribution is crucial for the Lakers. Stay tuned for the next video.